So if you have just joined me, I want to say hello and welcome, and thank you so much for being with me and the other hundreds of people that are online this morning for this most special year-end webinar called Review, Rest, Refocus. When you registered for this webinar, I asked you 2 questions in a survey. The first question was, what is the biggest thing you battle with at this time of the year? Louise Barry Taylor said, a lack of time to manage the NPO. We've got a lot of NPO students here. We've got a lot of people from the real estate industry, and then loads of other people as well. A lot of people said anxiety. Annette and Precious and Undine all said they battle with anxiety. Susan said balancing time with my work responsibility. Inmarie said burnout, and Inmarie, you joined by Estelle and Kobe and Benjamin and Kikeletsu and Lindsay, all said burnout. Per said depression. Nadine, Martin, Milani said exhaustion. There's a whole page of people that said fatigue. I'm tired. A lot of people said finances. And when I read through this list, I see Peter, Celeste, Adrian, Elria, Adi, Kathy, and Nadine all say they battle with motivation. Judy and Maria said rest. They are tired. Time management. The list is long. My second question to you when you signed up in the survey was, what is the one thing that you want from this webinar? Michelle Kirsten said, a few good jokes would be good. Humor. Oh, Michelle, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I'm not really good with jokes, but I'm going to try my best to at least be inspirational and not talk you to sleep. Jaden said, I want calming exercises. Melissa said, I need coping strategies. There's a lot of people here that said, I need information about fundraising, how to raise funds. Now, you're at the wrong webinar for this. I'm not going to talk about fundraising. That is something for my NPO Fundraising Forum webinars, and I should do one early next year. But I'm not going to talk about fundraising, guys. This is a personal development webinar. Marty said, I need fresh ideas. Pietro, Melanie, Rutia, Louise said, I need hope. That's really what I want to give you this morning. How to organize myself and meet deadlines, said Felili. Celeste and Amanda and Tandu and Charmaine and Jackie and Feroza all said, I need inspiration. Now, well, that is what my aim is. I want to give you hope and inspiration. I want to give you food for thought. And I want to make you think about what's happening in your life. So I want to ask you to, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, close the door. Please switch off your phone unless you're watching on your phone. Please close your emails, because this next hour is yours. Minimize all other distractions. I promise you, the world and rest of its urgencies will still be there once we are done. But this is the hour for I, me, and myself. So claim this hour for yourself. Let me quickly tell you who I am for those of you that have not seen me before or worked with me before. My purpose is to be an inspirational teacher to a vast number of people, increasing your level of awareness in order for you to grow towards a different way of thinking, speaking, and doing. That is who I am, and that is my purpose in life. And with that, I have done countless trainings in corporate and the NGO environment. I've done public speaking, keynote speaking, and personal development training, for many, many years. And in my welfare organization work, I've worked with hundreds of welfare organizations with regards to fundraising training for the last, probably 30 years. I told you earlier about my online training academy, which is Annelise.Jager.training, and you will be able to find the replay video of this webinar on that platform. And I'll send you the link in an email, probably a bit later today, or at the very latest early tomorrow morning. But you know what? Beside all of that and what I do for a living, I'm just a person like you. There's nothing extraordinary about me. I'm a mother to a gorgeous son who still lives in Gauteng, sadly. He's far away from where I am. I am married to my husband, who is now retired and taking his new status as a pensioner very serious. I love to travel. I mean, I don't care to sit on a plane for 10 hours if it can mean that I can explore another part of the world. I love cats. I speak cat fluently, and I'm ashamed to admit that I think I've got more photographs of my cat on my phone than what I have of my child. Those of you that are Facebook friends with me will know my cat, a big fat ginger, and his name is Smarty. And then I ride a motorbike. That is my happy place. That's where I rest. And we're going to talk about rest today. That is really my happy place, which I thoroughly enjoy doing. I'm also a coach, and I recently qualified as an international MBIT coach, which stands for Multiple Brain Integration Techniques coach, which is an extremely exciting field. So if you're interested, or if you need a good coach, either a life coach or a business coach, you know where to find me. But we're not here this morning to talk about me. We are here to talk about you. And I want to start with a review of 2024 and ask you, what went well this year? Tell me in the chat box, what went well? What went wrong? And what could you have done better? If I think about the year that's just passed, there's a lot of things that went well in my life. There's a couple of things that went wrong. And I feel there's a lot of things I could have done better. What does your life look like? What went well? I see Simone said, I'm also a cat lover. Good. Yes, Louise, our cats are also our children. Smarty's been with us for 15 years already. But that's enough about Smarty. What went well? What went wrong? And what could you have done better? If you think about this year that has passed, I want you to, especially for the last question, I want you to have the guts to define reality. Not to live in la la land. Have the guts to seriously look at yourself and say, what could I have done better? Where could I have improved? How could I have made more of this year that was available to me? A lot of people said, even on the survey, a lot of people said, I didn't have time. I want to know how to have more time. But you know what? Please get that out of your terminology or out of your head. The sentence, I didn't have time. Because that's nonsense. If you are still alive, and I presume you are because you told me you don't have time, then you do have time. Just like me. You've got the same amount of time that I have. So I want to say to Lorian and Annette and Zelda and Amanda and Merle and Alida, you all have the same amount of time. Question is, how did you use the time that you had to your disposal in this last year? Maybe something really, really disturbing happened to you. Maybe there was a death in your family or someone close to you. Maybe there was a divorce. Maybe there was a car accident. I mean, life happens. This is not heaven yet. If something really bad happened to you, I want to challenge you this morning to find the good in what happened, to look for it. Finding the good in something does not mean that we are glad that it happened. It means we choose to find the good in it, because nothing in life is only good or only bad. Marriage is not only good, and death is not only bad. In everything, There is something good and something bad. My father passed away a couple of years, about 6 years ago, and it was very traumatic for me. It was very quick, sudden, unexpected. He was fairly young, and it took me a year before I could make peace with it. And I knew I had to find the good, but I wasn't ready. It took me a long time. But eventually I sat down and I made a list. What good came out of my father's death? One of it was the fact that he missed COVID, because I think he would have not been able to handle it. He would have had an extreme difficult time during COVID because of his personality. One of the fact was the fact that we could move down here to the Western Cape. Now, if you find the good, does it mean you're glad that this event happened? Am I glad my father passed away? No, not at all. If I could have him back here, I would do with a blink of an eye. But I can't. It's done. It's happened. It's up to me to decide, to focus on what is the good that came out of it. The Bible tells us, and I'm not here to preach to you this morning, but the Bible tells us that for those who love God, everything works out for the best. Now, that everything word doesn't mean only the good things work in our favor. It means also the bad things work in our favor. Looking at the list that you've given to me is there's a lot of people that said, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm drained. Lovely Afrikaans word. I couldn't help but putting it up there. It says gatvol. I don't think there's an English word that describes it so nice as I'm just gatvol. This needs to be over. That's how I feel. And I want to say to all of you, if you're feeling like this today, I want to say to you, it's okay. Just take a deep breath. Give yourself permission to be tired. Sometimes we're stressing about the stress that we have. Don't make your troubles even more to stress about so-called negative feelings that you have. There's no such thing as wrong emotions. You are allowed to feel tired. You're allowed to feel stressed and drained and gatvol. But here's the trick. You can't feel like that every day, the whole day, for the entire year. Some people are characterized by feeling tired and stressed. I was thinking this morning when I got ready, a while ago, I saw a lady that used to work for me. When I was still in Gauteng, I had a big office with lots of people working for me, and she worked for me for a number of years. And then she resigned, they moved away, and I saw her many years later at a wedding. And I said to her, hello, how are you? It's lovely to see you. Her first words to me was, oh, I'm so tired. I promise you, she didn't even say hello. She said, I'm so tired. And I thought, is that really the first thing you can say to me after we haven't seen each other for 6, 7, 8 years? You see, some people are characterized by it. So it's okay to feel tired and drained sometimes, but you can't feel like that every day. Sometimes when you ask people, how are you? They say, I'm stressed. And my response in my head is, I didn't ask how you feel. I asked you, how are you? You see, there is a difference between how are you and how do you feel. You might feel stressed and drained. I mean, before this webinar, I was nervous. And I'm not nervous about presenting. I mean, I've done that hundreds of times. I'm nervous about all the technical things that's out of my control that, I'm going to touch wood, can or might go wrong. But that doesn't mean I'm not well. I'm not happy. I'm not excited. Find that balance within you right now. How are you? Versus how do you feel? Because there's a difference. In looking back at this year, I want to know, where are you now? If you think about what is your biggest problem, where are you now and where do you want to be? And then what's stuck in you? What's keeping you stuck in the middle between I am here and that's where I want to be? What is keeping you there? I see Simone said, I'm also tired because that's what I'm going through. Charmaine said, I'm exhausted. Relationship problems. I see there's a lot of people that experience what I do as well. Experience what I feel as well. Where are you stuck from where you want to be, where you are now, and where you want to be? We're going to talk about this slide a bit later again. If we look at rest, our second word for the day, I want to say that we need to work to live. So unless you were lucky enough to find a rich husband or a rich wife or have very wealthy parents and you can sit on the beach all day, we all have to work in order to live. I mean, I also have to pay electricity, I have to pay petrol, and I have to buy food for Smarty. We work to live. But sometimes we change this thing around and we live to work. Sometimes our work has become so important that it's absorbed our entire life. And that we almost feel guilty to live because I have to work the whole time. Can you identify that? Do you work because you have to live? Or do you live in order to work? I mean, I love what I do. I'm now past my expiry date in terms of going on pension and, but I just love what I do. But that doesn't mean that I only live for the fact that I work or that I can work. Can you find that balance within you? Have you maybe because if you can look into yourself in terms of your feelings of stressed, emotional, gutful, tired, overwhelmed, drained, is it not because you live to work? And guys, I know there's a financial reality, but this is not what we're talking about now. You can provide for yourself and for your family and still work to live. Because sometimes because when work overwhelms us and it absorbs us and we're drowning in work, we lose the family that we work so hard for. When we talk about rest, it is the time to invest time. Now, what I've got on the screen for you is an ATM, and I want to take the analogy of an ATM. When I presume most of you have bank accounts, so when you have a bank account, you deposit money into that account. Am I right? Your employer will deposit money, or maybe you go to the ATM and you deposit yourself, or someone would put money into your bank account. And then when you need that money, you go to the ATM or you go to the shop and you use that money. You withdraw that money. Now, in the same sense, with a bank account that you deposit money and you draw money, our relationships work in exactly the same way. We need to invest into our relationship. We need to deposit into our relationship in order to withdraw from our relationships. And this time of rest, this holiday season that we're going into, that is the time for you to deposit into your relationship bank account. Now you might wonder, how on earth do I deposit into my relationship bank account? There's only one way, and that is undivided time. Focused intention without your phone. The minute you pick up your phone, that person does not have your attention anymore. Holiday is a time to build on your relationships with your friends, with your family, all those friends that you think, oh my goodness, I've been so busy this year. I mean, I make a list of people I want to phone and just reconnect with that I haven't spoken to in a long time. It is a time to build up your family ties again. It is a time when, even if you can't, I mean, you might look at this previous picture and say, yeah, but we can't all go to the beach, you know. We still, some of us have got to stay at home during this period. Well, guess what? You don't need the beach in order to have a good time together as a family. You can do it in your own garden. You can do it in your own house. But you have to have the intention to spend time. I mean, once the school starts and everybody's got responsibilities and the children are running around with after school sports engagement and you've got the boss on your neck and everything, then everybody goes like this. But this rest period, I beg you, deposit undivided attention into your relationship bank account. Because maybe like me, you've neglected that a bit during the hecticness and busyness of 2024. And I can promise you, you are going to need that when 2025 starts running away with us. I want to urge you to just reconnect as a family and to, without feeling guilty, without thinking about work, without thinking about where you should be and what you should do, to just get to know each other again as friends and family, knowing that there's going to be hard times ahead, but we'll deal with that when that comes. Now we just enjoy being together. During this time of rest, it is so important that we rest our brains as well. When we talk about rest, we often think, oh, I've got to go to bed early, or I've got to go to sleep late, got to go sleep in a bit tomorrow morning, or I've got to go for an afternoon nap. And that is important. And if that's what your body needs, by all means, do it. But there's something else that needs to rest. And I think that's where we miss the concept of rest. And that is to rest your brain. Has it happened with you before where you can sit in front of your computer, mostly computer work, or sometimes it could be meetings or stuff, but for me, it's computer work. I sit in front of this computer. I work the whole day. I get up to eat. I go to the loo. I go and make myself some coffee, but I only sit here. And at the end of the day, I feel, oh my goodness, I have done nothing today. I only sat in front of the computer, but I'm so tired. You know why? Because our brains, our head brains, are like the smallest part of our body, but it consumes 20% of our energy. Even if you sit on your bum for the entire day and you really focus on finishing this report, writing this proposal, figuring out this program, it means that you are working very hard and you will be tired at the end of the day because your brain is tired. So I'm going to give you 4 things to rest your brain. And the first one is to detach from work. Now you can see that I've put the picture there with just pulling out the plug. That's what detach means. It means pull out the plug. Take whatever still needs to be done. When you close your office, and I presume you are going to close your office for the holiday season. If not, well, then take these tips and use them later on when you are going on holiday. Take whatever you have not done, put it in a box and leave it on your table. and walk out the door without that box of stuff. Because if you take that box of unfinished stuff in your head with you, your brain is not going to rest. I know a lot of you are in the field of where you service people and animals in our welfare organizations. And I want to say especially to you, without feeling guilty to the clients that you serve. For those of you in other professions, I want to say detach. Don't feel guilty towards your boss because you're closing the door. Because this is your time to rest. My second point is to say practice deep play. Now, as important as it is to rest our bodies, deep play rests our brains because it occupies us on a totally different level with something that we thoroughly enjoy doing. For me, deep play is when I'm on my motorbike. Now, being on a motorbike for a whole day, especially if it's a difficult, technical journey, it's physically tiring. But boy, at the end of that day, I feel revitalized. I feel energized. Even though my body is tired, it feels I've really rested my head, because when you navigating potholes and corners and other traffic on the road, you don't have time to think about that unfinished project that you have to do. Deep play is something like rock climbing, where you have to really focus on what you do. But deep play could also be you building a puzzle on the dining room table. Deep play could be you doing a coloring exercise with one of your children, or playing a game with your children. It's any exercise that totally brings you into the moment. Because you see, the trick is to get your head and your body on the same space. It doesn't help if you go down to your room and you go and lie there for an afternoon nap, but while your body is resting, your head goes like, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do. I mean, that's no rest. Sometimes we wake up in the morning more tired than what we were when we went to bed last night, because even though our bodies were resting, our brains were going like this. So the trick is to find something that absorbs you, where you can practice deep play to take your head off whatever else is bothering it. My third point is to get exercise. Now, that doesn't mean going to the gym. If that's your thing, by all means, go to the gym. Well, I mean, not all of us are gym bunnies. I wish I was, by the way. It could also mean just go for a walk. If you are fortunate enough to live near a beach, go to the beach. Sometimes, here's a confession. Sometimes we are too lazy to do the things that we like doing. A while ago, I think it was sometime last year, yes, we went to Langebaan area, and we've got e-bikes, and my husband said, let's go to the West Coast National Park, and we take the e-bikes and we go and ride there. And I was like, I wanted to do that. Earlier, I said, I want to do it, and we must do it. But on that morning, the wind was blowing and I was tired and it was load shedding. And I was like, I don't really want to do it. But my husband said, come on, get up. We're going to do it. And I did. I had so much fun. I even did a Coffee for Your Soul video about it afterwards. I had so much fun. And I thought to myself, I was too lazy to do something that I actually enjoy. So I want to say to you, get up, put some clothes on, put your lipstick on if you're a lady, or even if you don't put lipstick on. Go and do something physical. Go climb a mountain. Take the dog for a walk. Don't drive to visit your friend. Walk to visit your friend if it's walking distance and safe to do so. But get some exercise. Go work in the garden, because that also takes your mind off whatever you are still concerned about. My last tip on how to rest your brain is to become still. Sure. If I read everything on this survey that I've shared with you, there's a lot of people that I can see here. This is what you need. You need to become still. Yet it is so difficult for most people to just be still, quiet, without doing anything. People say to me, I don't have time to meditate. But they don't have 10 minutes a day to meditate. But they have 2 hours a day and sometimes 24 hours a day to worry. Now, what is worry? Worry is when you meditate on something negative. If you want to really rest, if you want to ground yourself, I beg of you. And even if you forget everything I've said here this morning, please just remember that the secret to finding yourself, to grounding yourself, to receive everything on this list that you want and need, everything lies in stillness. You might think, Annelise, it's very easy for you to say, but I don't have a desert where I can sit and stare into the abyss. And I want to say, neither do I have a desert. But you know what? You can sit on your patio. You can sit in your lounge. You can even sit in your car. You can sit anywhere. It doesn't have to be on this beautiful place where everything is, so serene and picture perfect. You can be still behind your trolley in the supermarket. You can be still while you wait for the kettle to boil. To just in that moment, focus on your breathing. Become aware of your body. And now, since I'm doing Pilates for the last year or two, I'm like, okay, I must pull up my shoulders and I must pull in my tummy. And I sometimes even stand on one leg while I'm waiting for the kettle to boil so that I can work on my balance. That is a moment of stillness. I could have stood there and worry about whatever was lying ahead today, but no, I chose that moment for stillness. Finding stillness does not mean you need to now find an extra hour in your day to be still. I suggest you find 10 minutes though. But I also suggest that you use the everyday activities to find your stillness in that. How well are you? Or how well can you handle boredom? Come on, be honest. Tell me. How well do you handle boredom? I say, Mary says, I struggle with resting. I don't do the leaf thing, holding down 3 jobs at the age of 70. Sure, Mary, that sounds like quite a mouthful. But I beg of you, even though your program is so full, to find stillness within yourself, to recharge yourself. Tell me, I eat when I'm bored. Oh my goodness, Megan, so do I. So do I. But I think every time, when I eat when I'm sad, and I eat when I'm bored, and I eat when I'm happy. I don't get time to get bored. You see, Marissa, we fill our lives with so many things. I mean, we get in a lift going up 4 floors, and what do? You take out your phone. I think we don't get still anymore because we don't know how to be bored. We don't know how to just sit. A while ago, we were sitting on our patio, our stoop area, and my husband said, let's go and do something. And I said, we are doing something. He's like, what? I said, we're sitting. And he's like, no, but let's go do something. And I said, Leon, we are doing something. We're sitting. We just be. I think part of us being overwhelmed, stressed, tired, totally overstimulated is that we don't allow ourselves to be bored, to just sit. It feels like we've constantly got to fill our lives with loads and loads of extra stuff. Let's end our seminar by talking about refocus. Because before we know it, in I don't know how many days, where are we now? The 11th is like not that long to go. We're going to sing Happy New Year. Happy New Year. May you have a wonderful new year. So let me ask you something. And I'm going to put a poll up. I'm going to start the poll and display the results. Okay, so there's a poll up on your screen. I want you to pick what applies to you. The question is, how serious are you about making 2025 your most successful year yet? First option is, well, it's not really a priority for me. I'm happy with what happened in 2024. Second one is, so maybe, I want to make it more successful, but it's not a priority for me. And the last one is, I'm very serious about having a more impactful year in 2025. So let me give you a minute or two. No, I don't have a minute. I'm going to give you 1 minute. Seems like most people, 95% of the people says, I'm very serious about having a more impactful year. 3% said, so, maybe, but it's not a priority. And 2% said it's not a priority, which is fine. If you're happy where you are, that's fine. That's also good. That's also, well, if it's good for you, then, but you see, sometimes we complain where we are, but we don't want to make it better. So if you're happy where you are, that's perfectly fine. But then be content where you are. Don't complain where you are when you don't want to change anything. If where you are is good for you, then I'm glad for you. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And you should see the results now. 88% of you guys said, I'm very serious about having a more impactful year in 2025. And that's good to know. But here's another question that I want to ask you. And again, I'm going to put the poll up. Let me reset the poll. How do I do that now? Okay, now I'm going to ask you another one. And this question is, how much time or money did you spend on developing yourself this year? Time could be, I'm talking about things like reading a book, watching a good uplifting YouTube video, going on a self-development course, doing self-development training. How much time did you spend on yourself this year? Nothing? Well, you can't say nothing because you're here. Okay, so there's 10% nothings. No, you can't say nothing because you're here. That's something. Almost nothing. Once a month, once a week, once a day. Someone said to me in the WhatsApps that I've sent out earlier, I aspire to be like you. And I'm like, no, I'm just an ordinary person that do things differently, because I can promise you that every day I do something to grow myself. 4% of the people, I'm going to end the poll. You all clicked your clicks. It seems like 3% of people said, I did nothing. 21% said almost nothing. 41% said once a month. 15% said once a week. And a glorious 17% said once a day. Well done to you guys. Because here's the thing. Unless something change, nothing will change. So like 90% of you guys said, I want to be more. I want to achieve more last year than what I've done. I want to achieve more next year than what I've done this year. But if you want to achieve more, then doing nothing, doing almost nothing, or doing something just once a month. I mean, if I add that up, it's 20, it's 60, it's nearly 70, 64, 65% of the people online said, well, very little. But 90% of you says, I want to be more. Something I want to bless you with, if you don't already receive this, is every Friday I send out via WhatsApp a 1-minute audio or video clip to inspire you, to make you think about something, just a little piece of wisdom that I have on my heart. And I'm going to invite you to join these groups if you would like to receive it. Now, I know a lot of you already receive it. So if you already have it, receive it on a Friday, then just ignore this. Straight after this webinar, I'm going to send you, the minute I click the stop button, I'm going to send you a WhatsApp. That's one of the reasons why you had to save my number on your phone. Also because of the previous WhatsApps that I've sent out before we started. So if you haven't already saved my number, please save my number. Otherwise, you're not going to receive this message. I'm going to send you the links, and you can choose between the Afrikaans or the English group. You can choose whether you are involved in a charity organization, whether you are involved in the real estate industry, or none of the above. So you'll see there's 3 sections in that message. I'm going to send it out right after, because that is something that you can use to grow, to improve yourself, to be more, to achieve more than what you already do. Because nothing changes unless something changes. And if we want 2025 to be better, to achieve more, to be massively successful, more successful than what we were in 2024, something needs to change. I can't tell you what needs to change. Who am I to say to you what you need to change? You need to find that answer within yourself. And if you can, do it right now. What do you need to change in order to make 2025 better than 2024? Because, 90% of you said, I want to make it much better. I want to say to you something very serious, and there's a lovely quote. Maybe Michelle, was it Michelle? Yes, Michelle, here's your humor. If you do not like where you are, move. You're not a tree. Maybe you need to move out of a relationship. Maybe you need to move from where you're living. Maybe you need to move from where you're working. Maybe there's some serious life decisions ahead of you. I want to say to you in very short, if you're not happy where you are, if you don't like where you are, move. You're not a tree. Move on. Find a place. But I also want to say that if you do not like who you are, move. You're not a tree. But with that I mean change it. If you do not like who you are, if you do not like this characteristic, the way of doing, if you don't like the results that you get, well then do something different. Maybe that doing is changing in who you are. I'm sure some of you have at least started to think about your to-do list for next year. How am I going to be successful? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? But I want to put something else on your radar this morning. And I want to say, what is your to-be list for next year? My to-be list is to be more patient. Oh my goodness, my husband can testify to the fact that I'm very impatient. I'm so impatient that when I'm standing in front of the microwave waiting for something to heat up, I don't want to, it's such a frustration to stand there until the little bell goes off. Because and I just want to take it out because I'm so impatient. Or the air fryer is the same thing. That's mine. I want to be a more patient person. What is yours? Let's forget for the moment about your to-do list and focus and think about what do you want to be more of in the year to come. Commit to proclaim it out loud. I'm not saying there's something wrong with the to-do list, but I'm saying it's more important to focus on the to-be list. Because if the to-be list is correct, the to-do list will come and be successful. Also want to say that whatever you have done and achieved so far in your life, well done. I want to say to you, that's good. That's great. So often in seminars like this, we feel guilty because we're not more successful. We're not better. We're not perfect. I want to say to you, get over that. Wherever you are, Mary, holding down 3 jobs at the age of 70, I want to say to you, well done. Simone, Dalian, Marissa, Jenny. You know, guys, whatever you've done this year and whatever you didn't do, whatever you did wrong, whatever you did right, I want to say well done. And I want to challenge you to celebrate yourself and give yourself a hug. And what's the word? Give yourself recognition for all the things that you have done. Don't for 1 minute feel I'm not good enough because I haven't ticked everything on my to-do list. But I want to challenge you to say to you, there is more. Wherever you are, there is more. That doesn't mean you're not good enough. But if you want to experience more of this time that we have on earth, there is more. I want to tell you about a course that I'm doing very early next year. And I didn't plan to put this in, but I spoke to Fran yesterday who spoke to me about a similar course and I told her about this and she was so excited. And then I thought, well, let me tell you guys about it. Fran, I don't know, are you here? Then let me know. Sure, I see Virginia's doing her master's at the age of 56. Flip, Virginia, I salute you. Well done. So I'm doing this training. I'm quickly going to tell you, and there is also a document that you can download, and I will also email you this information document, but I wanted to share it with you now already. The course is going to be called Mastering Me, and it is a personal journey to self-discovery. It is for you to discover, not for me to say you need to do this and this and this. No. It's for me to guide you to thinking differently and to discover within yourself, what can I do to make this year to come an absolute more and bigger success? We're going to start on the 6th of February. I'm going to start early because I want you to use this for the entire year. And I call that program From Chaos to Clarity, Mastering Your Thoughts. Overcome mental clutter, gain clarity, and learn how to control your thoughts. I'm also going to focus in that series, in that session, about the intelligence, our 3 centers of intelligence, meaning your head brain, your heart brain, and your gut brain, multiple braining, which is a fascinating field. The second session will take place 2 weeks later on the 20th of February, and there I'm going to talk about strategies for efficiency and balance with the focus on mastering your time. Now, I'm not going to give you time management stuff. I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit, but that's not my main focus. My main focus was to master yourself to bring balance in your life with regards to time. I'm going to talk about things like procrastination, what's stopping you from taking action. 2 weeks later, on the 13th of March, I'm going to talk about understanding your inner world and to master your emotions. Self-awareness. Where does your emotions come from? How to break free from a history that doesn't serve you. And find out, I'm going to take you through an exercise for you to find out what your deal breakers are. Now, that training is not going to be like this where you only sit there and on the other side. It's going to be a really interactive training. You're going to get a short video to watch before every session. And then there's the live sessions. I'm going to give you a workbook. We're going to talk. We're going to play. You're going to work. It really is an online workshop that is going to be awesome. I've done this training for many, many years, but I've never done it online. So it's the first time that I'm doing this one online. The last session on the 27th of March will be building bridges, mastering relationships, and navigating conflict. So how to intentionally build healthy, more fulfilling relationships, and how to navigate conflict confidently, and practical action steps in terms of that. Now, I'm sure you are excited. Well, I hope you are excited. I'm very excited about this. The training's going to be between 10 and 11:30 in the morning. And I'm going to do a separate training, same content, from 7 till 8:30 at night. So some might want to look at this or be in the morning group. Some might want to be in the evening group if you can't do that during the day. The course will be 3,990 Rand per person, but there is an early bird special with where you're going to save 500 Rand. So 3,490 Rand per person that this training will be. And I want to say to you this morning that if you attend the first session, if you pay to join and you attend the first session, and after the first session you feel, oh no, my goodness, this is not for me. I don't like this woman. I don't like this kind of training. I don't want to carry on. Even though you've already been at the first session, I'm happy to give you 100% money back guarantee. But then you have to be at the session. I mean, you can't not attend and then want your money back. But if you attend the first session and you say, you know what, no, I don't like this way of working, then I'm 100% happy because I don't want you to waste your money. If you do, if you follow this training, if you do your homework, if you watch the pre-video, I can promise you, I can guarantee you that this will be extraordinary and it will add value to your personal as well as your professional life. So I'm going to send you a document in the email. You can download the document now. It's here. But I'm also going to mail it to you afterwards. The links to join either the morning or the afternoon group is on that document. And you can also send me an email if you want an invoice to pay via EFT. But remember the early bird special only until the 31st of December. I want you to set yourself up to be successful for next year. I want to go back to this slide in closing down our website, our seminar, to say, where are you now in 2024? And where would you want to be? What's keeping you stuck between what you achieved this year and what you want to achieve next year? What do you want to take with you into next year? When the bells ring on the 31st at 12 o'clock, what are you going to take with you into the next year? Think of it as standing at a carousel where the bag's coming past you at an airport. And you pick up the bag that you choose. Are you going to pick up hurt? Are you going to pick up the failures of your past? Are you going to pick up your broken relationship you had? What are you going to pile onto your trolley that you plan to take into 2025 with you? Are you going to pick up the heartache, the disappointment, the difficulty you had at childhood? You know, there's so many people that drag history with them. Sometimes we drag things with us that, and don't worry, I also do it, but I've become aware of it now. Sometimes we drag things with us through the airports of our lives that doesn't add value. I want to beg you, don't pick up stuff to take with you into your future that doesn't add value to your life. Leave it and learn to travel light. Those of you that's traveled before, especially internationally, but even locally, I mean, you know what it's like to travel with too many suitcases. My goodness. Maybe it's time to let go of some of those baggage. Don't pick it up. Make the intentional decision. Do what you need to do. If you're into this thing, I'm not really, but if you're into breaking the chakras, cutting the ribbon, you know, writing a letter, burning it, whatever you need to do, don't take things that doesn't serve you into the new year. Sometimes people say to me, you know what, this is just who I am. I want to say to you, nonsense. You were not born like this. This is how I choose to be, is what you actually mean. Don't tell me this is just who I am. That's nonsense. This is just who I am. I am tired. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know how to do it, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. You're lying to yourself. However you are is a choice. Me being positive is a choice. That doesn't mean I'm always positive. But when I am negative and sad and frustrated, I put a time limit on it. I give myself permission to be angry and worried and stressed. But I always put a time limit on it. Let go of this sentence, this is just who I am. That's not what God intended for your life. I end off with this question. Imagine you only had one life. How would you like to live it? Just imagine for a minute that you only had one life. How would you want to live it? Well, here's the thing. You do only have one life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Where you are now, where you're sitting right at this very moment. It's not a dress rehearsal. This is real. This is the only life you're going to get. Do you really want to spend it where you are 90% of the times bored, frustrated, tired, unhappy, uncontent? And then tell me this is just who I am? No, I'm saying nonsense. This one precious life that you've been given, would you not rather spend it being in control? I'm not talking about not being busy. You see, there's a difference between being busy in a controlled manner or being busy in an uncontrolled manner. Would you not rather want to spend your life in peace? Is that not what God intended for us? No matter how hard we need to work to make a living and to provide for our families, your life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. And you're never going to get this hour over in your life. Even if you watch the replay video, this is it. How do you want to spend your life? Unless you change something, nothing will change. I'm ending this webinar, and let me just click my slideshow off. And I want to say to you, thank you very much for spending your time with me. Thank you for being here. I am so excited that we have such a large audience, so many people that enrolled or registered for the training, and so many people that actually turned up, because always about a third only of the people turn up. But thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me onto your computer, onto your phone, and into your life. I want to say, may God bless you abundantly. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And most of all, may you have peace in the year to come. So from me, it's over and out. Have a wonderful Christmas period. Be safe. And I trust I'll see you next year. Bye-bye.